All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 of the Motley Crew podcast. My name is Mike. We have Stan here, RB, and our guest, Joshua. And today's topic, or this episode's topic, is going to be, what should you do if you're going out with your lady and another man comes up and hits on her? What is the appropriate response? I had answered briefly before we started this particular topic, and I said, really, the appropriate answer or the appropriate response is a response that you think your significant other wants you to respond in, not necessarily the actual right response. Does everybody agree or no?
Yeah, I would agree. But I think you would have to know how your significant other would actually expect you to respond. Because sometimes...
How do you know that?
Yeah, what are you talking
about? You don't know until it's too late. You have to look at it in retrospect. You have to look at it in hindsight. There's going to be some trial and error there for sure. Absolutely. Is it something where you just sternly stand up to that guy and look at them and say, blah, 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 you disrespected my woman? Or does it now come does it come to a fight?
That's with the assumption that it is disrespectful, right? So
it's disrespectful to you. You're standing right there with her. It all depends.
Well,
are you trying to say it depends on how?
It depends on the situation.
It does not depend.
Yo, I don't know if it really depends.
Because at the end of the day, maybe he should talk to you first, see what's going on. Then if he wants to give your lady a compliment, then that's a different story altogether. If he bypasses you like you're not even there, and then he just goes right to your woman,
you're giving the situation
that is a straight disrespect.
You're giving the situation like you guys are in proximity of one another, your lady and yourself.
So
what if you're out with your lady, you go dancing or something, right? She goes to the bar and a guy tries to hit on her, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to you.
I guess it's a setting, right?
Well, it's not the setting. I think it depends if he sees you or not. Because if she's just at the bar and you go to the bathroom or whatever, and then you see this going on and you come back, then he doesn't know you're there. If he knows that you're around and he's just trying to do it on the low, nah, that's disrespectful. Or right in front of you, that's straight disrespectful.
If it's right in front of me, that's disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like acting like you're invisible.
If we're in
proximity, right there.
Yeah, we're holding hands and some dude come and no, all right, I agree with you. That's disrespectful.
So what would you do, Sam? What's the appropriate response? No, sorry. Let me answer this 2 questions.
Okay.
What would you do, okay, in that scenario? And then what do you think she wants you to do in that scenario?
The second question, I don't know what she wants me to do.
Well, that's why we're saying, what do you think she wants?
What do you think? Of course, I think that she would want me to sort of defend her honor, and which I would, I would 100%. That's what I would do. Like if I'm holding hands with my wife and we're out and some dude actually is seeing us hold hands and we're in close proximity and he tries to talk to her, my man, you really disrespect
So you get into a verbal altercation.
Possibly
into a physical altercation.
Back, son. This is my lady right here, right? This is mine, right? But if we're out at a party and we're dancing and then she goes to the bar and some dude tries to talk to her, my man, good luck, man. Buy her a drink. Buy her 2 drinks. Give me a drink back. Babe, bring both drinks back.
And then she comes back with a story like, babe, you saw what happened?
Yeah,
I got hit on at the bar though. I'm still hot shit.
Absolutely, I saw what happened. Absolutely, I saw what happened. Yeah, he tried to talk to you. Right?
Do you think she'd be upset if you didn't see what happened? Like, why aren't you paying attention?
Yeah. I think she would be upset.
Like, how come you don't keep your eye on me while I'm at the bar or whatnot?
I could see that being a problem.
Does it make a difference if there's alcohol involved? If you guys are at a club and you see that he's a little drunk and all that kind of stuff, do you then give him a pass?
Yeah, of course. Like if he's
being a clown.
Yeah, if he's just drunk out of his mind and he tries to talk to my lady, I'm gonna be less likely to be more physical with it. I'll give him the opportunity, my man, this is my lady, right? Go over there. There's other girls, right?
But I want this one though.
Yeah.
And you can't have this one.
Exactly. Right?
Fisticuffs are slowly
But again,
coming up.
the situation, if we're dancing and then she goes out, and she goes to the bar, or let's say, there's instances where individuals have a problem with their significant other dancing with other guys.
Oh, that's the other thing we want to bring up, right? Is it okay, or actually, no, I won't say is it okay. Do you care if she goes dance with other guys?
No, but again,
she cares if you go dance with other girls. Maybe.
Maybe, perhaps it depends on the individual.
Okay.
And it depends on the style of dancing. It depends on how they're dancing, right? You know, like I come from a Caribbean upbringing, like that's customary. Like you go dance with other people. But if you 630 and your legs up in the air, he picking you up, and I'm right here, like, nah, no. Like first, I'm gonna talk to my lady, my wife, like, yo,
why is this happening right now?
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't be mad at the guy though, because
that's the thing, right? That's what you said. That's how they do it. That's how they throw it down.
Yeah. So he's trying to dance and have a good time. And it's up to my wife to be like, yo, my husband is here, so it has to be sort of respectful.
So it's on her responsibility. Then.
Yeah, and then again, being Caribbean, like there's times where that's a little bit, where you are a little bit more lenient to that, like around carnival time. It's a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. You just want to make sure that
I still haven't gone to carnival.
Come home. Yo, Mike.
My hips aren't ready for that.
Yeah, you lucky COVID's here. But anyway, but yeah, like if my wife's at the bar and a guy tries to hit on her, even if he was eyeing her the whole night, I'm gonna be like, yo, good, babe, handle that. Because I feel like she is gonna like that a little bit more. Like to her, it's gonna be like, oh, I'm still
yeah,
sexy.
Still got it like that.
I still got it, right? So for me, if she shuts it down, she gets 2 drinks out of it. She goes, yo, babe, like I'm good.
How often would you say that you see it's the other way around? Say you go up to the bar and you get some drinks, and some girl comes up to you, and then you feel to yourself, yo, I still got it like that. You ever think? How many scenarios have you seen where you see the girl, you come back and the girl's like, yo, I saw that girl hitting on you. Oh, you still got it though. I feel like I've never seen that.
Personal experience, it never happens.
Yeah, it seems like it's 0% of the time.
Like that personal experience.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's more of, hey, did you shut that down? What was she talking about? Did she? Yeah. Well, what's that about?
This is a funny story, right?
Yeah.
So, I was out with my wife and a couple of my friends, and they had their dates as well, right? So, we went to, I think it was Yolo at the time. So we were like 300 yards from the bar. The fellas were like, yo, we're gonna go get some drinks, right? We'll be right back. So my wife was like maybe 200-300 yards away from the bar. Right, so at the bar, we're waiting to order drinks. And this group of girls, I guess one of them was getting married. They had like these list of things to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So these group of girls come behind us, and then one of them taps me on the shoulder. She's like, hey, my girlfriend's getting married this weekend, so we have this list. Yeah, and one of the things that she has to do is to jump on the back of a hot guy.
That's you, Stan. That's you.
Yeah, so she's like, yo, can my friend jump on your back for like, I don't know, it was like maybe 20 or 30 seconds. So I'm like, yo, this is not a big deal. This is whatever.
You're just a good guy.
Yeah, I'm just a good guy.
Yeah, just being a good guy.
Yeah, sometimes being good.
It's not good.
Yeah, there's consequences to it, right? So I say, yeah, no worry. You get married, congratulations, right? So the girl jumps on my back and it's like, right, all this commotion and stuff. And I put the girl down, and then I turn around to kind of like give her like high five. My wife is like right there, boom. She's giving me the death stare.
Of course.
And I'm like,
all too familiar.
Damn, I done messed up.
Did you feel that actually though? Because you responded like, oh yeah, I'm just being a good guy. Why not? No big deal. But then you realized after, it's like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, initially I was like, yo, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? I explained the situation, but again...
I explained the situation.
The way that she wanted me to respond was not the way that I responded, right? So then that was a no.
Then it became a conflict.
Yeah. All right, Doug, flip the roles.
What?
So your wife, same scenario,
mm-hmm.
and there's a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And then says, hey, I just want a hot girl to jump on my back for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You're standing away at the bar or whatever, 200-300 yards away. And then you see your wife jump on the back of some random strange dude. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Sit back and take a drink, and then when she comes back, then come back and say, hey, what's going on over there? Or maybe not even mention it at all. Oh, she's just having a good time. Or would you interject, go over there and like, hey, what's going on? That's kind of weird. Why is my wife jumping on the back of another dude? And then the guy is raising his hand and, turning around and screaming and all that kind of stuff.
Is it crazy for me to say like, I wonder what's going on over there?
Yeah,
that's not something you would normally see. It's like, I wonder what's going on over there.
What's going on?
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't go over there.
I probably would.
I don't think I would.
I would go over there just to see what's going on over here. It's like, hey guys, what's going on over here?
Like in the scenario,
oh my god.
Yeah.
In the scenario that she's with her friends,
yeah,
right, and they're at the bar, and it was like 20, 30 seconds, like, and she was doing whatever, like.
You plug it in, bro.
Yeah, I don't think that it would bother me so much that I would have to go over there and like when she came back with the drinks, I'd be like, yo, what's that about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would question her about it.
Yeah,
but there would be no death stare or anything.
No.
Because you see it and you're like, this is weird. I want to know the story behind it, not like, oh, look at her just being all deep. It's not even deep. Yeah. Like, look at her, just this infidelity. Oh, infidelity, all in the air. No.
Yeah. It's.
So at the time,
pass on that? You give her a pass on that? For
a pass?
Or like,
she wouldn't even need a pass because it's not an issue.
So
she came back and told me like, yo.
So in this particular scenario, when this girl, attractive woman, asked to jump on your back while your wife is there, you gave it no second thoughts and said, this might cause a conflict because my wife is right there and she has no idea what's going on, and this strange girl is on my back.
No, I'm telling you,
zero thought.
Zero thought. Yeah. And like thinking back to it now, I would give it a thought again, but I'd probably still do the same thing because it was just really innocent. It wasn't like she was trying to holler at me or whatever or not. No, it was, she just...
Now, is it actually what is actually happening or the perception of what is happening as well? Especially because she's there with her friends as well. And then her friends are now seeing this other girl on your back with her. And then they're looking at like, what is Stan over there doing?
Absolutely.
Go control your man.
Yes. I agree 100%.
Yes. It's not even just you and her there. There's a group of you guys there, and the strange girl is on your back.
I agree 100% with everything you're saying. It's really the perception, or is what she perceives that other people may be thinking about the situation.
Yo, this is so sad, boys. It stopped recording.
Dang.
I know.
Bro.
I don't know.
Dang, that was good.
Yeah, I started.
Yeah, man. You told the story really well and everything, man.
Well, I have some of the audio from that one. I'm so sorry, boys.
Yo, fix it.
Yo, it's fixed. It's going now, so we good now.
What?
Yeah.
So do we have to start over?
No, you just keep going. I'll just pull the audio from that one.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Sorry.
All right. So yeah, back to the story. Yeah,
this one was a good one too.
I feel like if it were to happen again, would I do it again? And I feel like because it's really innocent.
Clearly it's innocent.
Right.
But the perception of what's going on does not have the perception of innocence. Straight up.
Right.
If a girl is on your back, her breasts are on your back.
Yeah, it's hard.
Her legs are straddled around you.
Yeah, so that's
Straight
what I'm
up.
saying. Yeah, I think
it's an intimate position.
It's inappropriate. So I think
what
I would have been like,
oh my back. It would be a different thing if I was holding her in the front like that.
No,
it's
still bad. I still like it's still bad. I feel like you should have dated that situation, and I feel like if I see my wife or my girlfriend doing that, she should say, you know what, my husband right over there, and I want to respect him, so I'm not even going to do that.
Wow.
But
and the friends are there too,
right.
So then you add the level of embarrassment on there too.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say. I mean, you guys are bringing up valid points.
This is just in hindsight, of course. 20.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
But again, the question is, if that situation came up again, would I do it again? And like she's on my back.
Just don't answer.
No, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be 100% real.
Yeah.
Even though you know that she wasn't happy with that move that you made. So you're saying if that situation were to come up again,
knowing I would be like
that
this
she's
time
not going to be happy. You're saying you would do it again.
This time around, I would do it differently though, but I would still do it. I'd be like, yo, time out. I'm going to tell my wife what's going to happen, and then you could jump on my back.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Perhaps I would do that.
So you would go to your, be like, hey, this girl asked me to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, they about to get married. It's not even that big of a deal. They just want to jump on my back. 20. Now it's different. Like for me, like.
And then I think even at that point, she would actually have to come over there and say, "Hey, this is my wife, blah blah blah, and let's all have some fun together." You can't just go over there and say that girl wants to jump on my back and then go back over.
Oh yeah, my wife could come. Like,
why not?
I think in a situation you would have to say, "Come on over here, let's watch that. Let's have some fun together and make it a together thing, as opposed to stands over there having some fun with some random chick."
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
that could be
that could definitely be a play.
But Stan's point is just like, yo, what's wrong with what he did?
Of course, it's innocent in his mind, but the perception is not of innocence.
The perception isn't.
Right,
yes.
Right. And perception rules at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's not about what you are doing or what you think you're doing. It's what people think you are doing in any given situation.
So.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Like,
no, it is. We say that all the time. Perception is reality.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but your reality is based on how you see the world, right? What your lenses are, or what your lens is of the world, right? So I agree. So the perception of that may have caused my wife to feel some type of way. She wasn't my wife at the time. I want to clarify that. She was my lady.
Well, I mean, I don't really think it matters.
It doesn't matter, but still. I think it was like, again, if they were like, yo, I want to come around and then we got to do that, like, then I'm like, whoa. That's a little much.
I still think it's an issue because, like I said earlier, I feel like idealistically that shouldn't be an issue for her. Yeah, for you to do that. But in reality, like he was saying, the perception is all wrong. So I don't even think you should even play into that,
So that's like our earlier podcast 2 or whatever it was. Should you even ask the question? If this girl comes up to you, this bachelorette girl, and then she wants to do that, do you even bring that back to your lady and say, this is what I want to do?
Yes.
Yes.
It all depends on your lady.
Yes.
Your lady.
Because then you can clear up.
If you really want to do this, and you think she's of the personality to let you do that because she's a happy, fun type of non-jealous person, all that kind of stuff, then so I think it all depends. So you have to know which questions you can ask your lady, which questions you can't ask.
So I'm thinking like in the reverse. Would I be okay with that? Like you asked that earlier. And you know what? Like I said, I even now, thinking about all the perception stuff, I just be like, yo, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, I feel the same way as Stan. All right.
I wouldn't be okay with that.
I wouldn't be okay
maybe
with that
it's
my experience with like dealing with carnivals and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
like,
we talked about that before. That's the carnival. That's the fete. You're at YOLO. You're at a bar. That's different. That's a very different environment.
But still at the same time, like that's like she's on.
It's just it's just the expectation in any given environment, and the expectation at a bar in downtown is not the same expectation if you're dancing behind a truck during carnival.
Perhaps.
It isn't. It isn't.
Perhaps.
You've seen the scenarios at bars and you've seen the scenarios at carnival. Carnival that's wild. I mean, that's just dancing. Everybody dancing with everybody. I grew up in that environment. We know how it is. But it's much different if you're at a YOLO bar in downtown.
I mean, yeah. But
Very
again, I feel like
crowd, different music, all that kind of stuff.
You're right. But I feel like in that scenario, because she jumped on my back, right? Again, I hear what you guys are saying. Maybe a different position, it would have been like, nah, I can't do that. But because it was on my back, I just felt like, it's really innocent.
Your lady already gave you the answer.
She did not think it was okay.
Yeah, she didn't think it was. But
that's the opinion that matters at the end of the day.
Well,
okay.
I mean, there's compromise, right? There's definitely compromise, right?
Is the action worth the consequence that you paid
No,
afterwards?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But there's like I said,
but we already kind of briefly talked about what you should have done, right? Because there's a couple of things. Really, the main thing is, hey, make her aware of what's going on, and then maybe get approval whether or not you should continue it. correct? So the initial question that we start off this whole thing with is, if this guy hits on your significant other, what is the appropriate, like, what is your response, and what is the response that you think that you should give based on what she thinks you should give?
Again, I just believe that it depends on the situation. Like the bar situation, she goes to the bar to get drinks, and a guy hits on her. I'm not gonna roll up and be like, "Yo, that's my lady."
Right, but I think it depends on the situation too. Is your lady even upset about it, or is she flattered by the situation?
Could be both.
Could be both. Because
Yeah.
she could be flattered, but at the same time, she expects you to defend her and shoo that away.
Yeah,
so
but
you think back to the what's her name, Aisha Curry.
I was just about to say that, the Aisha Curry thing.
That just went viral and all that.
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
Of stuff, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. So the Aisha Curry situation, she was saying that not many men come on to her anymore, but she sees women coming on to Steph all the time. So it's like, well, what about me? How come you don't come on to me? So there are both sides of that argument. People were saying, well, you're married with children, you shouldn't want men to come on to you. But then the other side is, just because you're married with children, it doesn't mean you're not attractive anymore, and people should still be coming on to you, because I think they look at that as a gauge as to whether they're still attractive or not. Do men come on to them or not? If your woman comes home to you and says, hey, I was at the gas station and, this guy tried to hit on me and all that kind of stuff.
Cat called me.
The cat called me, all these types of things. I mean, when she brings that scenario home to you, are you like, hey, congratulations, babe? Or are you just
so
like,
what do you do, Rob?
Or are you mad and
what do you do?
mean he trying to come on to you? You happy about him trying to come on to you and all that kind of stuff?
What would you do in a situation like that?
What do you do in that situation? Well, it all depends on your, like I said,
No,
What do you do?
What do you do, Rob?
What do you do? Which question are we doing?
If your wife comes home and she's like, yo, this guy tried to hit on me, I was at the gym, blah, blah, blah. She tells you the story about it.
Right. So if she looks like she's, flattered by it or whatever, I'll just play it. Then I would play into it. Of course he came on to you, babe. You're sexy.
Wow.
You're hot.
Wow.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
That's sage right there.
He's a smart man for me to coming on to you. If she's upset about it,
disgusted by it.
Yeah, if she's disgusted by it, this guy, I was in the parking garage and he tried to put his arm around me and all that kind of stuff. Oh, he shouldn't have disrespected you like that, baby. You want to go back around and see if we can try to find him or something like that?
Play it like that.
So you all play off her feelings, and depending on how she feels about it, then that's how you react.
Rob is a man that has been married for a long time.
Mastery. He goes with the flow.
Yeah.
Whatever flow. Even if it's not his flow, it doesn't matter. His flow is her flow.
Yeah,
exactly.
If my wife comes home, well, Mike, how about you share? Because I've been sharing
what?
A lot. What if your girlfriend came home and said, hey, I went to the gym without you because
gym time is not bonding time.
Gym time is not bonding time. But
sure,
I went to the gym and this guy was hitting on me.
I'd be like, nice. Nice. Good for you, babe. Seems like it's working.
Tell me more. So as she tells you the story, if you see that she's not disgusted by it, if she looks like she's a little flattered, if she's a little taken by it, then yeah.
Honestly, my response would probably be more what we always do, saying, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then it's like a very neutral response. And then depending on what he's like, he was really ugly, but I still got hit on though. I was like, wow, still counts though. I would say something like still counts.
Yeah, it's I would receive it.
And then I would say like this: it's like, was he trying to get handsy? He's like, no. I try to be out in the open. So I was like, all right, well, just take it as a compliment. I would kind of direct it, because if you're coming to tell me that story, either it's almost like looking for a type of response, like how, like, hey, this thing happened to me. I want to see how you react. And then if I give you something neutral, like wow, then it will be like, okay, well. Is this good or bad? Like, you should defend my honor, but at the same time, I am flattered. So I don't know. I kind of would go with what Rob says, but at the same token, it would depend on what the story is.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily feel like that my wife or your significant other would come with a story like, hey, some guy hit on me if they were too handsy, right? If there was some sort of like sexual assault, it would come across a bit different.
Yeah, it would probably be like, I went to the gym and this thing happened to me. It sucked.
So like I'm not even thinking in that way. I'm thinking more like, hey, oftentimes my wife will go to the supermarket and someone give her a compliment like, hey, you look good. You look good. Or whatever. You look great for having X amount of children or whatever, because we have a lot of kids. My wife does really well.
She does really well.
Yes. And she goes hard in the gym. So, if she comes home with the stories, I'm like, all right, cool. That's great, babe. Because I know that makes her feel good. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing in my mind. That's how I played out. If we're out, right, the respect factor from the guy to me is what I'm concerned about. Like, if I am in proximity to my lady and I'm holding hands, or we're having dinner, and he just interrupts what we're doing, our flow, to try to talk to my wife, that's disrespectful, right? At that point, you're disrespecting me as a man. You're saying like I don't even matter. But if she's away from me and you want to dance, or to me it doesn't even matter if you saw us from when we came into the club. Like if you were hawking my wife from the moment that she stepped in the club, that's my wife. I'm going home with her. Yeah.
So at what point does the onus go from the person actually doing the flirting, or the person coming onto your wife and then back onto your wife, to actually just say to shut it down herself? So say like you have the bathroom situation, you've gone off to the restroom or whatever, you come back and you see your lady just giggling and laughing it up with another dude. And then you come back, hey, what's going on? Hey, this is whatever. It
happens before. It's happened before.
So what do you do? Nothing, right? You just
cool with
whatever.
You're cool with it because you think she's cool with it. So you're feeling off of her vibe right now. But what if she looks a little uncomfortable, but she doesn't really know how to?
Then I'll just grab her and just pull her away
save
from
the day.
Mm-hmm. But I'll come.
Cape and going over there.
Absolutely. So I'll come back and I'll just be like, yo, hey, let you do you, because whatever, like
because that goes back to the whole Ayesha Curry thing, right? If Ayesha Curry, if whatever, your lady, and then she's talking to the guy and reciprocating and all that kind of stuff because she's feeling flattered by the situation.
Absolutely.
You just feed into that. What about the reverse scenario?
What's that?
If she goes off to the bathroom, she comes back and sees you flirting it up with somebody else. Hey, this is just
you mean someone else flirting it up with me?
Come on,
chill out.
Okay.
Chill out.
Somebody came up to you.
What?
Somebody came up to you.
And said, yo, Stan, you're a big deal.
Okay.
I want to jump on your back.
Yo, I already told you about the back situation.
Yeah.
But
just a normal situation.
Yeah, without if it's just a normal situation and she's just trying to talk to me in terms of, I'll have a conversation. But then when my wife comes back, that's dead. Like, I'm here with my wife. Yeah. Like, hey, how you doing?
An easy way to introduce us, like, my wife's back from where she's going.
Exactly.
Well, it's nice chatting with you or something. Or you can even play it off like, hey, she
because
just came up and
inherently, I don't think that it's wrong for someone to try
to
talk to you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a wrong thing that they're doing. So
perception or not, right?
Yeah, perception or not. I don't think it's wrong. I think ultimately it's left up to the individual. If you receive it, right, are you able to control that energy? Like, hey, does it make you feel good in the moment? Absolutely, it makes you feel good. Like, hey, I'm wanted. I still got it.
Yeah, validated.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you could be like, yo, I got mine over here. Growing up, like the elders used to tell me, like, yo, it's okay to play the game, right? You just need to know where to draw the line. Like, there's some individuals that I know that won't let their significant other go out without them.
It's okay to play the game.
Yeah, like if you go out with your girls and there's a guy talking to you, right? And you're chopping it up, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and then again, it makes you feel good in the moment, in the time. You had a great time with your girls. There was a young guy that was dancing up all on you, buying you drinks, right? But if you
so you're tempting fate at that point. You're no longer minimizing risk. You're bringing that risk level.
Yeah, he's opening the door here. Is what he's saying. The door is opened.
The game is always on.
But again, that's a different scenario between you being there with your wife. But people should. I think people should have the space to go out and have fun and know where it stops. It's not tempting fate, right? Like, yo, if someone is interacting with you and you're at a bar and someone's having a good time with a person that's of opposite sex, you shouldn't just shut it down because I'm married. Oh, I can't talk to you.
That's the expectation, my friend.
That is the expectation.
The expectation.
Oh.
You shut everything. It's like, nope, sorry, boys. Or sorry, ladies. This right here can't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
that's the strong-minded individual. Yeah,
huh?
Absolutely. I said that's the strong-minded individual. Absolutely. Because when hormones start coming into play, as opposed to just intellect, then things start to go a little bit different. It's hard because we talked about that, right? The emotion, the hormonal part of people versus the intellectual part of people. What you're saying right now is you're looking at it strictly from an intellectual standpoint. You're going out from the very beginning, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to talk to whoever, I'm a friendly person, and all that kind of stuff. But if you meet that really friendly person, that friendly person is really, really attractive to you, then you're starting to play with fire. Then you're starting
but
to
that, again, that doesn't mean that you can look at a menu. You can look at a menu and not order.
If you keep the intellectual part on, absolutely, yes, you can. But how many people, we kind of had this discussion before, how many people can actually be very, very analytical like that and then just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do and not bring emotion into it.
It doesn't matter how many people. I'm just talking about the individual in the moment, right?
Individual in the moment. And in the moment, usually in the moment, it's going to be a very emotional reaction.
So
that's when you're playing with fire, when it becomes emotional.
Yeah. Like you alluded to earlier, though, right? Yeah.
I think it stopped. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
Like in another podcast, right? You spoke about work relationships and work affairs, right? And how that comes about. So that's not purely emotional. That's not purely hormones. That's proximity. That's time, right? Mm-hmm. That's building relationship over time.
Right.
And those things happen, right? Mm-hmm. So that doesn't mean that I should restrict my partner from going out and having a good time and talking to another individual.
Oh, absolutely. But the first statement you said about always being in the game or whatever it is that you mentioned, that implies something different altogether.
No, it doesn't. Again, it's like...
Because the game that's played is the relationship between two people, meeting people, this game, that game, and then playing and all that kind of stuff, kind of playing the field, the game.
It's not playing the field because, again, you're not trying to take anything home or hold anything. Playing the game to me is I could be at a bar and I see a female and we have drinks and I leave it there. We have a good time. We understand. We connect on a level and boom, I leave it there and I go home.
Right. So she's connecting on a level with you, but from an intellectual standpoint, you're saying I'm just leaving her right here. She probably didn't come for that same scenario.
Who knows? That's an assumption.
Maybe not. I mean, but they're again tempting fate. If she did not come for that, and then she goes and makes the advancement towards you, then are you going to still be? And maybe you will be. You probably will be. I know you will be. But how many people can find themselves in that same scenario and say, I'm not going to let the emotion take over. This girl is really, really attractive. She's hot. But I'm just going to say, all right, well, no, I'm just going to step back from this and have no problem with it. When she's making full-on press at that point because you guys had this connection, so to speak, and you've been talking for the last hour at this place that you've never met. Everything's new. Everything's exciting, I think, just like any other time. It's new and exciting.
I don't think that's an exceptional act, bro. I think that happens all the time. And maybe it's my experience from growing up in New York. Like, I used to go out all the time and just go to a bar and talk to someone and go home. And this is when I was like single. Like I didn't really, like to me that's nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? You can go to a bar and have a good time and dance and drink and whatever and then go home.
Right.
That's not an exceptional act for me.
So I guess what I'm saying too, another point to that is, if your lady was there at the bar with you, or not with you, or in proximity or whatever, would it be the same scenario?
No, absolutely not. I would. No.
So don't you think that she would expect you to act the same way when she's there from when she's not?
No.
Because isn't that kind of disrespectful to the relationship at that point? If you would do it in front of her, then you would do it but if you wouldn't do it in front of her, you wouldn't do it behind your back. Because same scenario, right? Perception, right? If somebody else is there and then sees this happening, your wife's friend or whatever, she's gonna report back to your wife. I saw Stan at the bar and he was chatting it up with this girl for like an hour. They were laughing, having a good time, giggling, and all that kind of stuff. Is she gonna be cool with that?
Is she gonna be cool with that?
Probably not.
Probably not. But again, that doesn't.
Why not?
No, because again, the perception of it. But that doesn't mean that it's inherently wrong.
Right. But why do you think she would not be cool with it?
That does not have to do with what I did.
I understand.
Again,
I understand. From your standpoint, definitely. You're thinking very cerebral. This is just, I'm from New York. I go to bars all the time, and this is what we do.
You see the voice that he put on, like what's that like? Some.
I understand. But what I'm saying is, if you're not gonna do it in front of your woman, you shouldn't do it behind your woman's back either when she's not there.
I mean, you can feel that way, but I don't think it's wrong to say that, hey, if my lady was there, I would not be conversing with another woman for 30 minutes versus if my lady's not there and I go to the bar and I could have a conversation for 30 minutes. I don't think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's no different than when we talk about you being a different individual in different scenarios, right? So go to a clinic, you're a PR person, right? We come outside of clinic, now you're a different person talking to whatever. It's like, oh, should you be the same everywhere you go? Probably not. So just to Stan's point, like, hey, if I'm with my significant other there, that conversation doesn't happen.
Correct.
But because she's not there, now the opportunity is available to do so.
To have the conversation.
Yeah, just to have a conversation. It's not even trying to go anywhere. Just talk.
Yeah, it doesn't have to go anywhere.
And he knows, or he's suggesting that if she was there, he can't even talk, can't even say hello.
But that goes to my previous point. It's kind of like, I think these expectations of relationships make being in a relationship that much complex and harder, because really that's a humanistic need, right? To socialize with people. Just because you're married doesn't mean that you die and you're blind and I only gotta see my wife and I can't have any interactions with people of the opposite sex. Listen.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person. For Mike Pence, I know he can't have dinners with women after a certain hour without his wife being there or something. I respect him, man. That's good for you. But for me, like I don't necessarily subscribe to that. In fact, my wife, she's in sales, so that's what she does every single time that she goes to work. Mm-hmm. She has dinners with guys in different states.
Right. She's in business. That's what she does for a living.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that would be different, though, right?
Bro? Okay. All right. Yeah.
It means to an end.
Yeah.
So then that's to his point, right? Because for her, maybe it's you're building a relationship for business, but for you're doing it for leisure, or either leisure or to fulfill, or maybe not for leisure,
or maybe not.
Yeah.
But even
that's a perception.
Correct.
Of it, right?
But even if it was for leisure, I don't think it's inherently wrong. Like if my wife is there, I'm not gonna. Maybe I have a 5-10 minute conversation, and I'll bring my wife into the conversation with the lady, right? But not like a full 30 minute, whatever. Sometimes you just connect with people on that level, and then you could just leave it there. You can look at a menu and not order from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay.
But not if you're hungry. If you're hungry, you order from that menu.
Well, then if you're hungry, then that's a different situation.
I want to say that I know Stan to be a man very strong-willed and fasting.
Yeah. Fast 72 hours, easy.
Yeah,
I know. Routinely fasting.
I know you, and I know what you stand for. But I don't think that's the general. You can't make a blanket statement like that for the majority of people. We're not making a blanket
statement. We're saying specifically for Stan.
This
is what the whole conversation has been.
Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, Josh.
What do you think about this?
I think it's 100% impossible to be the same person at all times. So you're going to be a different person when you're with your wife or your girlfriend, and you're going to be a different person when you're there by yourself. So I feel like, and I feel like it's, I feel like it's okay to kind of like what Stan was saying. You can talk to another person and just leave it at the bar. You don't have to take it home with you, Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's just that. I think
so. If it's okay to do that, why does such behavior? Why would it cause conflict within a relationship?
Perception. Well, you answered it before. It's the perception of it.
It just looks like it's not okay.
Yeah, it just looks like it.
Right, and for me to bring it back to the situation with the jumping on the back, for me the first thing that popped in my head was, I see my girlfriend jump on a guy's back.
Yeah.
And if she does that in front of me, then my mind was thinking, what is she doing when I'm not around? And that's probably just like an insecurity or like a jealousy part of it.
The huge
that is. But I think that's a valid thought, though. I think that's a valid thought, and I think a lot of people would think about it like that, instead of just being in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. Mike and I are about being in the now, right? But anyway, yeah, I think a lot of people would think of it in that way, like, yo, if this is how he acts in front of me, how's he or she acting when I'm not here? Right. But again, that you're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, of course.
And you know what happens when we make assumptions.
But I just like to be honest with myself, because if you lie to yourself, then you just only.
But then that's the question: are you being dishonest to yourself? If anything, he would be being dishonest to himself if he didn't say something.
Right. I mean, I feel like in his situation, he was being his genuine self.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you know me,
that's what I'm saying. Because you're saying I want to be honest with myself.
Right.
Because that would imply that if you did the opposite, that you'd be
dishonest.
Right. And I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Right.
But again, going to my point, I think a lot of these constructs that we put on relationships and these expectations sometimes make it really challenging to be in expectation, to be in a relationship. Because again, I don't think that I can have an expectation that my wife is gonna behave the same when I'm there to when I'm not there.
It's unrealistic.
It's really unrealistic.
Yeah.
And for me even to care that how she's acting when I'm not there, then again that means that I have to take a couple of steps back. Or why do I feel the way that I feel?
Right.
We need to look more into the relationship, or I need to look more into what's making me feel this way.
So at what point do you say to yourself when you're not around her or your significant other, am I behaving in a way that my significant other would not approve? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, should I be behaving in that manner? And does it even matter to you? Because at that point, you're no longer putting your needs ahead of the relationship. You're putting the relationship needs ahead of your needs. And is that appropriate for you to do and then still maintain your individuality?
I think you can remain, like, you keep the integrity in your relationship. Like, kind of going back to what Stanley was saying, I feel like you can still play the game, but just not try to score. So I feel like you have to just have some self-discipline and decide what's too much before you embarrass your
This is
your
also a
significant
very
other.
ambiguous question, because the even if you play the game, the way he plays the game, the way I play the game, we might not even be playing the same game.
Correct.
One, and then also the players playing the game, and then on top of that, the responses are going to be so varied depending on the players playing the game.
Right.
So, at what boundaries? Does not even set boundaries. The boundaries are all gray, and on top of that, the boundaries probably keep changing too. At one time it's okay, and another time it's not. Even if the scenario is the same, depending on how much money you have in your savings account.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh yeah, a lot of these things are largely dependent on your relationship itself and the dynamics of your relationship. Every relationship is different. I mean, you have things as open relationships where people are openly sleeping with other people, and then you have things that are very closed off, the total opposite of that, the Mike Pence type of situations. So, and everything in the middle of the spectrum. So yeah, it is largely dependent. And I think that's why I say, how does your significant other expect you to respond or expect you to act when they're not around?
Do you have
in order to continue to respect the relationship and respect her?
Do you have to move in a way or perform in a way of how she expects you to move?
If you're putting the relationship above your own personal needs, then yes. How much of it is your own individual personality, and how much of it is this relationship that you formed with another person? Because once you start bringing other dynamics into it, that could open the door for infidelity. Then you're talking about more relationship dynamics. If you're talking about Stan's wife going to work and having dinner with clients and stuff like that, that's something different altogether, because that's more of a professional relationship.
Like, you know,
but you brought up the scenario, dog. You brought up the
come
scenario,
on,
son.
man. All right. You can use
It's
someone
a different
else's
thing,
wife.
because you're talking about looking at how you're acting in a professional manner versus how you're acting within the confines of the relationship. Whether that significant person, that significant other, is there or not, you're still doing something that could potentially open the door to affect this relationship.
Right. I think
Going
it's a
out
discussion.
on a dinner date, it's not going to affect
I think it's
the
a discussion that you should have, just because, kind of like you were saying earlier, you don't want to ever have somebody report back to your wife or your girlfriend that you were embarrassing.
Yeah,
her.
but
So that's why I said, but you have to make a conscious decision about what you're going to be doing.
to have
and
a
what's
discussion
too much.
about that, though.
Well,
Like,
I
who's gonna hey,
You know what?
hey,
Before you, but
let
before you go out, do they say like, don't do anything that's gonna embarrass me?
Don't do anything that's going to embarrass me.
Right.
If my friends see you out chatting it up with another girl at a bar for an hour, laughing, hee and drinking and doing shots and all that kind of stuff, that's not good. That looks disrespectful to your lady. If your lady believes in that type of relationship, that you shouldn't be doing that.
I don't disagree with that. It looks disrespectful, right? From people outside of the relationship. And that's what I'm saying, is like sometimes we put these expectations. And you know what? It all depends on the individual and how, like if you saw my lady winding up at a fete and she was, I'd be like, bro, good looks, thanks. She had a good time.
So would you want to know?
No, I don't want to know. Like, why?
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
Like, for what? Yo, I knew she was going to the fete. She was going with her girls. Yo, she had a good time. She came back, maybe a little drunk or twisted. Yeah, we had a good time later in the night. I'm good with that. Yo, have your space, have your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because why do I need to know that? Like if something is done in the dark, it's gonna come to light. Right? So, me worrying about her having a conversation with a dude at a bar that's like a one-off, is different than like something that she's doing behind my back that I find receipts about, right? That's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
but that's he's probably saying, like, what if it's not a one-off? This just happens all the time.
Well,
it happens all the time.
No. I mean, like in a one-off in the sense of like she's going out with her girls.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if she's meeting up with the same dude all the time, like that is just straight infidelity, and that's wrong. Right?
What's straight infidelity? If she's going out with the same dude all the time, even though you're just cutting it up, chopping it up at the bar or whatever, every Friday night after work.
But
wouldn't that be considered a form of cheating?
If you're saying
I don't know.
every Friday night, chopping it up every Friday night.
But it's plutonic. It's straight up plutonic. It's just that's what you're saying, right?
Every Friday night.
Whatever frequency you want to add to it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whatever frequency you want to add to it, dog. If it's wrong every Friday night, is it wrong one time? Is it wrong two times? At what point is it wrong or was it right? It all depends on the relationship. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Because again, you have varying spectrums of relationships. You have everything from open relationships to Mike Pence.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was funny, bro.
Yeah, that was funny. That's funny. Like when you start saying every Friday night you meet up with the same buddy, all right, bro. Right. That's not playing the game. That's you top scorer. So. Like I need you on the field or all the time, every Friday night. Come on, man. But yeah, like I said, go have your fun, right? When I was in New York, I used to go to this church. It was an amazing church. The pastor himself said that when he counsels newlyweds or people that are going to take that step into marriage, he says what he used to say to them is, don't lose your identity, right? Don't lose your identity. So what I'm hearing from you, Rob, is sometimes, you talk about putting the relationship over yourself, but there needs to be a balance, right? Because if you're constantly putting your relationship over yourself, right, then you're not going to be happy at some point. I think that there needs to be a balance. You should have the independence to do you, to have fun, without this notion of
Infidelity's
Yeah,
around the
that's
corner.
why I say it.
Infidelity.
That's why I say it definitely depends on the relationship. You've got to maintain your individuality. Absolutely, 100%. You can't morph and meld completely 100% with another person. You've got to maintain your individuality. They've got to maintain their individuality. And whatever your personality brings to the relationship, it's got to be an understanding that this is who they are, this is who they are, and then you bring together the relationship and whatever construct that you have and whatever ideas and morals and all that you have within the relationship, for sure.
All right. I think we flushed this one out. We've gone through multiple scenarios of how we should address it. To summarize...
One more.
What do you mean one more?
One more question.
Okay.
So
Okay.
taking it a step further, right? If you're out with your lady and the guy comes up and he just smacks your lady on the ass, nice ass, that type of thing, and you're with your woman, what do you do in a situation like that? At what point does it come to, like you mentioned at the earlier part, to fisticuffs, or does it never come to that situation?
I think
at
the
all?
bare minimum is
That's
definitely
There
verbal
needs to be,
assault.
There's
Yeah,
going to
for
be
sure.
a verbal altercation at the bare minimum. That's
minimum.
like the expectation for everybody, I would say.
It should
Right.
be.
Okay.
So you can't, in a situation like that, you wouldn't just let your lady handle it and just say, "Hey, hands off, buddy," whatever,
It's
blah blah
not
blah.
It's not whether or not
What?
she can handle it. No. It's not whether
So
she
you-
can handle it. I think she can handle it, but you still require some type of action if you're literally
You
with
have
her.
to act.
Yo, even if I'm with my friend, right? Let's say me
You
and Sam
have to act.
You have to
100%. You have to act.
to act.
because-
Not
100%.
even. There's not even a question.
Because
you
if
have
you
to
if you
to
don't
act.
stand up for her, I feel like for
It's
the
a
most part,
wrap.
a woman
It
wants
is
to
a
feel
wrap.
protected,
Absolutely.
and if she
Even
feel
if
like
she
you can't
can
protect her,
handle it. Yes.
if she feel like you
Even
can't
if
protect
get
her,
whooped.
yeah,
No.
After that, yeah,
gotta
you have
act.
to.
Son.
You gotta act.
You have to.
Yeah.
100%.
You take that beat down.
Yeah.
For
yes.
sure. Yeah,
Take it.
you have to. Yeah,
Yeah. What?
because then I feel like she will look at you crazy. Like she'd be like, he can't protect me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why am I
Yes.
even with
Done.
this guy?
Right.
Yes, so that would be the answer. Even if she can handle it herself,
No.
doesn't matter. At least
Bro.
verbal altercation,
What?
possibly physical altercation.
So once there's any physicality in there,
Absolutely.
This is
You've
that's
gotta
barrier
act.
that you're breaking.
Absolutely. You're disrespecting my lady
And me,
and
and me.
myself.
I'm here.
Yeah, but what? Yo, even if I was in the bathroom, that's nah. What's up?
rap.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
okay.
100%.
Yo,
Absolutely.
I think that's like a unanimous thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Stop it.
All right.
Motley
So
Crue.
that's the finale of the
Stop.
episode 8 of the Motley Crew. Once again, I'm Mike. We have Stan, RB, and our guest, Joshua. All right? Yep.